Hi everybody, I'm Discount Jedi, but you can just call me Jay. And this is my dog Leia. She is a very good doggo, even though she's kind of smelly. And she's kind of special too, because she has puppy anxiety, which means she's scared of thunderstorms and constantly likes to hide under her bed. But there's one problem with that.
It's a little snug.
And then the solution to that problem came in the form of a TikTok video that I forgot to save, so I'm gonna draw it for you. Basically, in this video, all the person did is they bought a couple of IKEA shelves and they slapped a piece of plywood on top and then laid their mattress on top of it, which created a little crawl space underneath the bed. And honestly, that's a pretty good idea, but I also think it's kind of stupid, and here's why. For one, I don't really trust IKEA furniture that much, certainly not shelves. Also, there's no IKEA anywhere near me, and for some unbelievable fucking reason, IKEA shipping is $200 fucking dollars. Are you kidding me? Just why? So I decided I'd make everything myself. First, I'd build a frame underneath the bed out of 2x4s to lift it up off the bed and support all of our weight. Then I would build these little IKEA style cabinets to go on the sides that would hide the frame. And I thought that was a pretty good idea. So I put on my work boots so everyone at Lowe's would think that I was a hard-working manly man and not a punk little bitch. And off we went to spend way too much money at the magical land of Lowe's. And didn't record anything in there because I too have puppy anxiety. So we loaded everything up in the back of my Jeep Cherokee. And just so you know, 8-foot long boards don't fit in there, so you end up driving around with boards hanging out of your car like a complete asshole.
And then they come to the Clayton County Jail, which is like this surprisingly beautiful building, like it's covered in windows. And the reason for that is basically that people are infants when it comes to racing.
I actually had Lowe's cut down the very large panels of MDF for me, mainly because they wouldn't fit in my car and it would just make my life a lot easier. So whenever I got home, I got to work on cutting down the smaller panels. And I actually bought this handy little guide that you can clamp to your boards for your circular saw, which really helped me out a lot because I can't cut a straight line to save my life. Also, I'm wearing a respirator while I'm cutting this because MDF gives off a lot of really fine dust. And I've already done enough damage to my body in the years that I've been alive, so I want to take care of myself just a little bit. So after cutting down my smaller panels, I decided to do a test fit of all the boards, which made me realize I screwed up and would have to cut them down even smaller. And this was just the first of many, many screw-ups. After I cut down some of my panels, I decided to test the screws that I got for the MDF. and found out that they would blow out the corners of the MDF if I tried to use them. So I'm gonna have to get smaller ones. Then I did some more math and I realized that I might not have enough board for this entire project. While trying to ignore my complete screw-ups, I decided to go ahead and cut down all the long boards for the frame. After cutting all of those down, I decided to do sort of a test fit on the bed frame to see how tall it was going to be and to see if we would have enough room to crawl around underneath there. Which turns out there's not a lot. Then I realized that my cross beams were going to be way too short to hold up the bed frame and I'd have to change my plans. Shit.
Yeah, but I think that's okay actually, because if you can see, there's actually boards that run along this way. And so I'd rather support them by this rather than across it.
Okay, so I think I figured out how to do this, sort of. But I need to go back to Lowe's for more things. So I grabbed some smaller screws for the MDF and a drill and impact because I had no self-control. I took the smaller screws and tested them on some cutoffs and it turned out pretty strong, so I think I'm gonna roll with those. And then it was finally time to start assembling the cabinets. Now, the way I had to do this was kind of weird because I don't have very many clamps, so I couldn't glue in and screw all of the panels in the middle. So I measured out how big I wanted the cubbies and then just screwed them in from the side. After I got the dividers screwed in, it was time to glue in and screw down the back panel.
Now would you look at that? One whole cabinet done. Now I just need to do one more on the bed frame. This is gonna take a few more days than I thought it would.
It took 2 weeks.
So all I should need to do now is cut down a couple of more of these boards, paint the boxes, we'll be good to go. I hope.
Check out this amazing circular saw I got for a whole whopping $40. Its features include a pain-in-the-ass cord that doesn't reach very far. You have to cut it on a table turn, and you end up cutting the fucking corner of the table off. With both of the cabinets assembled, it was finally time to start painting them. So painting MDF is kind of tricky because you have to seal the wood or the paint will soak in and make the wood swell. So after wiping it down with a tack cloth, I used Kilz paint to seal everything. Now, this stuff is pretty gnarly. I actually kind of started tripping balls one day whenever I was painting a house with the windows closed. Yeah, don't do that. Wear a respirator. Also, just so you know, painting cabinets with a roller style brush is kind of a pain in the ass, especially when the roller is just a little bit smaller than the cabinets you're painting, so you end up dragging the roller across the paint that you just laid down. I would recommend getting a smaller one if you ever do this. Can you tell how bitter I'm getting? Then I went back in and painted the corners with a brush.
Now I have to go back to Lowe's, so I ran out of paint. I also need a staple gun, so yay.
After the first couple of layers of Kilz dried, I sprayed down the entire thing with a gloss white coat, and it actually turned out pretty good.
Alright, so while I let the paint dry on the cabinets, I'm going to go ahead and build the frame in our room. And I removed the box spring and the mattress, and I actually covered the box spring in some old sheets that we had and stapled them onto the other underside so you won't see the underside of a box frame when you're under there. I just got to move the old frame out, slap together the new frame, bring the boxes in, we're done.
Please try to ignore how messy my room is. After clearing out the old bed frame, I started to build the new frame in our room. And this was kind of a pain in the ass, honestly, because I can't cut straight boards, so it was a chore to get them nice and level. But after I figured out that you could use a clamp and a level, it turned out fine, and things started coming along. Since I couldn't fully support the bed from both ends to make it nice and sturdy, I put 2 supports on the front, hoping that it would kind of add a little more rigidity to it. Then I just used a couple of cut-offs from my wood to add a little bracing and some support here. And I think it turned out pretty sturdy. It's looking pretty good.
Okay, it's still a little wobbly, but here goes the first test. If it breaks, I give up. Oh. Hey. That's not too bad.
God, I really fucking hate myself sometimes.
Okay, so I put it in the boxes, and I think they turned out pretty good. Now I'm just gonna put some lights in the little hidey hole so it's not completely dark in there, and we'll see how little Leia here likes it. So it's a little bit shorter than what I originally wanted it to be, but oh well, I guess. Nothing I can do about it now. So it is a little tight, like my head is hitting the top of it now, but you know, it's not bad. It's a cool little hidey hole. Let's see if we can get Miss Leia in here. Come here, pup. Come here. Oh, hi. Hey there, puppy dog. Hey there, puppy dog. Do you like the new hidey hole, huh? Huh? Is this gonna be a good spot for you to hide? It's pretty cool, isn't it? You like it? Can't really stand up in here. I'm sorry. So yeah, I think it turned out pretty good considering like I'm not very good at woodworking, you know. I think after all the materials I had to buy, if I didn't have to buy the tools along with it, it was only like $200 to build all this, which isn't that bad. I said it's a pretty good price. Now, would I recommend you do this at home? Let me answer it this way. Just buy the goddamn IKEA shelves.